Hello, everybody. Tomorrow it is West Ham United versus Arsenal. It's a big match for both teams to some extent. The Europa League is on the horizon, but make sure if you haven't to come back tomorrow because we'll have our full slate of match day coverage. However, as you know, before the games, we like to get truly down to the nitty gritty, find out what the team is about. And today we've got someone who's more qualified than anyone else we could think of to talk about it. Lee, how are you, sir? How are things? How are you feeling ahead of tomorrow?
I'm good, thank you very much. Listen, I feel a little bit better than I did a week ago, so going into the game before Chelsea. So things are looking up for us at the moment, things turn around quickly in football. So who knows? But at the moment, I'm okay. So listen, at this moment in time, Mikel Arteta and Arsenal have not got in my weekend and ruined it at this moment in time. They could well do tomorrow, but at the moment, it's been all right.
Well, let's talk about the season as a whole, because it feels like, at least from the outside to me, that this season it's been pretty good for Arsenal. It feels like it's finally starting to come together a little bit. Like, you know, there's been so much turmoil at the club, so many changes, higher ups, manager, everything. It feels like it's finally coming together and coalescing into something, something decent, at least from the outside. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. People from the outside are seeing that, from the inside, there's been more bumps than what we would like, if I'll be honest. I thought it'd be a little bit more straightforward this season. I think without European football this year, I felt that it would benefit us. Has it or hasn't it? That's a debate. Obviously going out of the FA Cup early was a big blow as well. So listen, there's been some good things along the way, but some disappointments as well. But ultimately, you can see the team is improving. The youngsters are getting better and better, and that's the thing at the moment that Arsenal are pinning their hopes on. For me personally, we're building the foundations for bigger and better things. That's what I hope anyway. So it's the defence looks a little bit better, even though statistically it says it's not. But for me, I feel it is. So, hopefully get Tomiyasu back sooner rather than later. And that will be, I know he came on for the last couple of minutes the other day. If we can get that defence stability back, I think we'll be okay. So it's been a topsy-turvy season, if I'll be honest. But ultimately, we're in a position now where we can get top four. And if you had said to me that at the beginning of the season, going into these games now, I would beat your hand off for it. So as much as you can moan and groan, there's been some positives as well.
Well, before we go much further, this video is brought to you by OneFootball, and here's Gio to tell you a little bit more.
Apologies for interrupting this video and the chat between Lee and Charlie. Hope you're all enjoying it ahead of the massive game tomorrow. But this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, which is the best way to keep up to date with what's going on at your club. Lots of transfer news ahead of the summer transfer window, lots of injury news ahead of the big game tomorrow, and of course we take on Frankfurt next week. So if you want to know how they get on Monday night, the best way to do that is in the OneFootball app. When you download it, which takes approximately 15 seconds after you click the link in the description of the pinned comments of this video, you can then choose your favourite teams and your favourite competitions to follow. So you click on the Bundesliga, click on Frankfurt, and then after Monday night, click on results and see how they get on. But more importantly, perhaps, just who did they play? Have they rested players? Will West Ham rest players? Well, you'll find out tomorrow at 3:30 if you download the app, because you'll get a notification to your phone that says, "Oi, lineups are out for West Ham Arsenal." You click on it, it'll tell you the starting 11 of both teams, the formation that they think both teams are playing, and who is playing in which position. Injury doubts for both teams ahead of the big game, with David Moyes stating West Ham need to get top 7 in the Premier League this season. He wants European football back to back. The only way we're going to get to do that is if we finish above Wolves in 7th minimum. Arsenal going for the Champions League, West Ham going for the Europa League. Anyway, that's enough for me. Get the OneFootball downloaded using the link in the description of pinned comments. Back to Charlie and Lee, and hope you enjoyed the rest of their chat.
Gio mentioned there about Arsenal potentially getting Champions League and looking towards that 4th place. That's something you've touched on. Like, most of the season, I've been looking up the results, seeing the results. A lot of my friends are Arsenal fans, so I get told them whether I like it or not. And it seems to have been going pretty well. But recently, at least, there's been a sort of, you mentioned a bump. It seems to be more losses than wins, at least for the recent time. Is that something that you think is going to continue, or is that just a minor blip, as it were?
I don't know. I'm going to be really honest. I don't know. I think the inconsistencies of everybody this season has been there, and listen, with Arsenal, when they lost those 3 games on the spin, we was then going to Chelsea. I thought it was going to be 4 on the spin, but we needed to do something. I didn't really think I didn't think that we'd get, but we did, and that's put us back to a good position. I don't think we really played that well against Manchester United, if I'll be honest. I thought Manchester United probably played the best they've played for a while, but we managed to get over the line in that one. So, listen, if you'd have said to me to probably get Champions League football, and that's with obviously Liverpool beating Spurs, to beat West Ham away when they're in between a semi-final, Leeds at home, who are in the bottom three now, and then to beat Spurs to get Champions League football, I'd have said, well, I'd have that. You know what I mean? And I think we've got a great opportunity to get it there. Like, the footballing gods have been a little bit kind to us, really, because West Ham away is never an easy game. But we've in between that semi-final, when I don't care what anybody says, West Ham can say what they like. They're going to have one eye on next Thursday, and rightly so. It's a massive, massive game because, as you say, both when you say Arsenal can get Champions League football, so can West Ham. And that is as close as it is. Arsenal need, as I said, 3 games. West Ham need to win 2. You know what I mean? Like, so it's easier said than done. But that is the reality. The reality. If Arsenal win the next 3 games, the chances are that they're going to get Champions League football. If West Ham win their next 2 Europa League games, they've definitely got Champions League football. So it's all to play for, and we're in a good position. How can you predict results? Because after we lost to Southampton, if you'd have said to me that the next 2 games, Tottenham have got Brighton at home, Brentford away, they'll only pick up 1 point, I'd have laughed at you, but that's what's happened. If you'd have said, an Arsenal then on the back of that, we're going to get 6 points against Manchester United and Chelsea, I don't think no one see that. So when it comes to predicting football, I am not going to start doing it no more. Like, it's just so hard to do. Every result, I look at it today. You say about 7th for you guys, Wolves got smashed today, so all of a sudden that puts you in a much better position than what you was before the game started. And I would have said Wolves were nailed on to win that game today, but Brighton have got a fantastic away record, by the way, but that's another story. So you just don't know. You just don't know who's gonna be there. I think the team selection with West Ham tomorrow is going to be interesting to see what way David Moyes goes. I'm pretty sure it's not been the most easiest team selection for him, because if it wasn't for these semi-finals, all your big guns would be playing. But when you're looking at it now, if you was to risk, I don't know, say Antonio or Bowen up front, and they get injured in this game, and then that costs you Champions League football, you and everybody else would be moaning at Moyes, why did you play him? If Declan Rice goes down, it's a real difficult situation for West Ham to be in. Listen, we was in this position a couple of years ago when we played Atletico Madrid, and in between that game was Man United away, and with the rivalry of Man United and all that, I went up there, and it didn't bother me whether we won, lost or drawn, because it was more important that we got the result against Madrid. We didn't, but ultimately we put ourselves in a position where we could. So it's a real difficult one for what I think, and from an Arsenal point of view, I don't mean to upset you West Ham fans. The 2-1 defeat is probably the perfect result for us, because it means that the more forward players you would think that he's got to rest a little bit more, take a gamble with than the defenders. Now, if you'd have been winning 2 or 3-0, you maybe could think, well, I'll tell you what, I can risk Antonio, but you need them guys fresh, ready, and going for Thursday. And so it's a real dilemma for David Moyes to do. And listen, if you go for the full side, then so be it, and we'll see what happens. But I still think that Arsenal could not. Same for Tottenham, by the way, with the game against Leicester. Leicester in the semi-final conference. So it is a game where if you're going to be playing West Ham, I was always, when you was playing Lyon, I was desperate for you to beat Lyon, because I knew that you would have this semi-final in between us. So it does give us a bit of an advantage. Whether we take it or not, that's up to us now. But I think that we should. Because at the end of the day, Thursday is so much more important to West Ham.
And when we're looking at tomorrow and Arsenal specifically, who are the key players that we should be scared of? Basically, who are the men that we need to be keeping an eye out for from Arsenal's side?
Well, I think there's the obvious ones, like Saka is a terrific player.
Yeah.
I have to say that, and I'm not being biased with that. Like, I think he's top quality.
Yeah, I agree.
No, do you know what? He actually goes to games. I really enjoy going watching him play. I think he's a fantastic player to watch. Whether Arsenal are playing well or not, just what he does and everything like that. He's 20 years of age. It's unique. I also think that maybe Odegaard, he was outstanding in the 3-3 draw last season when you were 3-0 up. He really took the game by the scruff of the neck. And Smith Rowe, of course, I just think with Emil, he maybe just carrying a little bit of a knock. I don't know. Plays one good game and then he's a little bit quiet in the next one, maybe because he's just probably his body can't take the 2 games at the minute. I don't know, but if he's on song as well, he's a player, a joy to watch as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask because Saka's one of those people who I was sort of getting more and more used to liking, and then England happened, and I was like, oh, he's just brilliant. He's actually genuinely just completely and utterly brilliant. Smith Rowe, however, is one of those boys where I watched him at Huddersfield, and I just never quite saw it. I was like, there's talent there, but I was never convinced that he was gonna flourish. But when you look at Arsenal's setup and you look at Saka, Smith Rowe, potentially Eddie Nketiah, there's like all of a sudden you've got this group of young players who are all coming through together.
Yeah.
And do you think this is this the spine that's going to go forward? Are you convinced by all of them now? Is there any of them which you're sort of, because for me, Smith Rowe is the only one, and Nketiah, we don't know whether or not he's going to stay.
Yeah.
He's been linked with him several times, but
jury's out on Eddie, if I'll be honest. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I will say, it's the more game time he's having, the better he's looking. I was impressed with him against Chelsea. Didn't score against Man United, but his hold up and general play was pretty good. So he's doing himself massive favours if he wants to get a move to somebody else. Where I think Smith Rowe is now becoming the real deal. When you look at Smith Rowe and Saka, they're 20, 21 years of age, both in double figures for goals in their areas. That's a good start. To start, so they can go on and potentially get better and better. I do think that they are the real deal, and the ceiling's very, very, very big on them. With Martinelli as well. Martinelli's another one that has got a big ceiling. So them 3 players are potentially like gold dust for us. How far and how good they can go, I don't know. We just have to wait and see. Unfortunately, as well with Jack Wilshere, what a player he was, but he just never fulfilled his potential because of injuries. So you don't know. So it's a shame, but if that can happen at any stage. It's the same with Declan Rice. You've seen him over the last couple of years grow and grow and grow. And you would now say that his ceiling is as high as anybody's in the league as well. So I do feel that those 3 are really, really good. And don't forget, Martin Odegaard's only 22. People forget about that. He seems to have been around for a long while. So potentially we've got some really, really good young players in our side, and I think we've had to go down that route. If I'll be honest, we haven't been able to get the superstar players. That Manchester City and buy those sort of players. So we've had to go down this route. We've got 4 or 5 exciting players because I think you've got to add, the likes of the defenders in there as well. Ben White's 22, Gabriel's 22, still, learning as well. So and Ramsdale's young as well. So we've got a lot of potentially young players in the side with big ceilings. So that it really depends over the next year how that goes.
And I think when you look at some of those players like Ramsdale, I would have said you overpaid for him originally. When you bought him, to be fair, I'll be honest, when you bought him, I was like, why? I can't see it. But even now, I would have said maybe you overpaid. But the point is that now you have that column, you have those youth players, a group of people who can learn and grow together. You often see centre backs is the obvious place where here's a direct partnership, and when you get 2 that work together perfectly, it's like a dream. Whereas if you get 2, you can get 2 separate centre backs who are brilliant and put them together, and for some reason it just doesn't work and whatever. But when you have a group of players like that and they're all growing and learning together, I think that can be hugely beneficial to the club, even if it isn't those superstars. It's not the Aubameyangs, it's not the people like that. It is like putting together a team who are going to grow and get better together. But what about on the flip side? Are there any weaknesses that we should be looking to specifically exploit?
Well, the weaknesses are, we've the fullbacks are a little bit weak at the moment. Like, if we've obviously got Tierney not playing, and obviously Tommy Asu. I don't care if you're Manchester City, West Ham, Arsenal. If your fullbacks or your main guys are injured, your backups are not as good. That's why they're called backups. So you're always going to suffer a little bit of that, and we've suffered a little bit defensively because of that. Midfield, we're losing Partey, you know what I mean? But El Nenny's come in and done a decent job for the last couple of games. Very, very underrated player, El Nenny, in my opinion. Does what's on the tin. Not going to be a glamorous sort of a player, but does a job. So needs to come in and do a job tomorrow. If West Ham do go strong, then their midfield, I think, would probably be stronger, if not stronger than ours. So that would be a potential worry for me in midfield. We need to, really El Nenny and Xhaka to be at their very, very best to counter-attack West Ham's midfield. So that will be interesting tomorrow.
Let's talk about tomorrow specifically. Without giving away your scoreline prediction, how do you see it going? How do you feel?
Well, I think it's going to be a tough game. Whatever team West Ham play, I think West Ham. I don't know if you believe this and everything like that, but I think West Ham are a well-organised team.
Yeah,
and I put the word team in it. They've got. You could say Declan Rice is superstars, and I don't mean, I'm not saying this disrespectfully and all that. They're not a team of superstars. They're a team of a team, and sometimes that's better than having superstars and things like that. They're well-oiled, well-drilled, well-coached. That's what I've always said about West Ham when I've watched them. I could say, look at them. You can see they're being coached properly, coached how to play games, and I think that they've done that mostly all season. The reason that probably you've faltered in the league a little bit, I'll be honest, is that they haven't had a big enough squad to maintain what they wanted to do. But ultimately, whatever happens tomorrow, if West Ham go in a defensive formation, which I think they probably will tomorrow, if I'll be honest, try to nick things against us, they will be well organised, and it's going to be a tough nut to crack. I'm hoping that we get an early goal. That will make things a little bit easier for us if that happens. But because I think that if West Ham go the way I'm thinking, they may keep a couple on reserve, and if it's tight with 20 minutes, a little bit like what they did against Chelsea, same sort of game, and then hit us on the break in the last 20 minutes, take a little bit of a gamble there. So hopefully we can get the job done before then. But I think it'll be a very, very difficult game. One that I would never underestimate neither. It doesn't matter what team West Ham put out tomorrow, it'll be a difficult game.
And then 2 questions. First one is score prediction for tomorrow.
I think because of not just that you might rest players, but also the ones that are playing, and I mean this sincerely, that will have one eye on not getting injured, one eye on that cup game. I think it will help us, and I think Arsenal will win it 2-0. That is my hope anyway.
Okay, I can respect. I to be fair, I don't know if I agree with the score prediction, people, before I get murdered, but I do. I think I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think we'll set up defensively. I think we'll see similar to what we did with Chelsea, the sort of 5 at the back with just basically holding out and then trying to hit on a counter attack. I think you're mostly correct. And the final questions I have are: do you think Arsenal will get Champions League, and do you think West Ham will make it to the final?
I think if Arsenal beat West Ham and then they beat Leeds on next Sunday, I will be very, very confident that they can get Champions League football. Nothing guaranteed with Arsenal. That's what worries me. So I'm going to say that I feel that we'll win those 2 games. So I think that we'll get to the top 4. I do think that. Mm-hmm. What makes it a little bit more pressure for us is if we was battling with you, it wouldn't be so bad. It's because we're battling with them down the road. So that adds a little bit more pressure. Yeah. For me, as I said to you before we come on, like I think I'm going to be honest. I thought Lyon were a better side than in the home game. What I see than Frankfurt. He created a lot of chances against Frankfurt, and if I was a West Ham fan, I'll be checking my passport, make sure it's all right for Seville. I think you're going to be going to the final.
You're going to be a popular man after that in the East End. I can tell you that you're going to be a popular man. Lee, thank you very much. Let everyone know where they can find you on Twitter and everywhere else.
Yeah, Lee Mark Judges on Twitter and on Instagram, on obviously like Lee Judges TV as well. So, which is all on forms of YouTube and of course Instagram and Twitter as well. So yeah, follow us, and if you can, give us a little subscribe, that'd be lovely. And good luck to all you West Ham fans after Sunday.
There you go. Oh, there we go. We'll take that. Take that. Make sure to give him a follow and let him know how much you appreciate the vibes when we do inevitably get into the final. Come on, big place. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the match day coverage tomorrow. We have the build-up show an hour before kickoff. We have the watch-along. We have the review, all of that good stuff. And then, of course, going into Thursday's Europa League. Lots of stuff to come. But until then, come on, you Irons. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.